Sister, thank you so much for joining us. Lovely to have this opportunity to chat to you. Tell us a little bit more about why you became a nurse. I understand you were educated here in South Africa, but I'm not sure which part of South Africa you come from. Tell us more.
Thank you for the opportunity. And yes, I trained in Cape Town at Nikomalan. That time it was Nikomalan Nursing College. It's now Western Cape of Nursing College. And yes, I became a nurse. I think it was more a calling because I never planned to become a nurse, but here I am and I'm still enjoying it.
And tell us, I know that you studied in South Africa, you also worked for a while in South Africa. Why did you decide to leave?
Initially it was more curiosity because when I finished in the end of 1994, it was just the new South Africa era. So 1995, it was all about nurses moving, going to the Middle East, going to the UK. And I wanted to know what's going on in the Middle East. So I came here, and when I came, I loved the difference. And then, yeah, I'm still here. Then it became part of the lifestyle, the pay rise, the salary is much better. And yes, we could just enjoy it here.
Yeah, so you were curious about the world as it was opening up to South Africa in the mid-90s, and you stayed
Yes.
because you just love the lifestyle. Tell us a little bit more about what you do as the ICU nurse manager at Ain Hospital in Abu Dhabi.
I'm doing all the administrative work as the manager, as well as I'm managing the staff. And when, especially now with the COVID period, I also do clinical duties with the nurses because we need everyone to be on board. So I have a mixture of roles, but at the end of the day, it's more administrative than clinical.
And how tough has it been in the UAE with COVID? I mean, we've had such a rough time here in South Africa. We look at what is going on in India with the hospital system just collapsing. Has it been particularly hard where you were, or were you spared the worst?
Oh, it was hard. At the beginning last year, it was hard. And so hard that it was also the period that I had to go on vacation to South Africa. So most of us, we couldn't go. Up to now, we still cannot travel abroad. And it was so hard that nurses had to work extra shifts. They couldn't even have the lunch. But we were lucky because we were provided our lunches in the units, and we were also blessed because none of our nurses died of COVID.
Yeah, that really is a blessing. We have seen so many healthcare workers
Yes.
who've not been that blessed. You said a little earlier that becoming a nurse was a calling. Tell us what makes a good nurse. What makes a great nurse?
I think a great nurse is a mixture of caring, loving. It's all about the passion you have for looking after your community, looking after sick people, wanting to see results, wanting to see that you go home at the end of the day and you say, oh, that was a good day. I made people happy. And I always see it as it can be my family that I'm nursing. So we need to give the best that we can because it's only us that the patients, they trust us. And because we are nurses, I think they trust us more than the families when they are in the hospital. So yes, we need to have that passion for nursing.
Yeah, and I'm sure, of course, during COVID as well, the role of nurses has become even more important. You know, here in South Africa, I would imagine the same in Abu Dhabi where you are. Family and friends not allowed to visit. I would imagine in ICU, you would have had some patients on their deathbed and they only had the nurses to comfort them. Am I right?
Yes, you are right. And because most of our patients, they are expats also, so they don't have the family support in Abu Dhabi also, so we became their support. So it is tough, and yes, we managed. We worked out ways for them to talk to the families abroad as well as families that do come and visit. We did a great setup where they can talk to them from, we have a communication center in the hospital where we have video cameras and they can communicate with the patients.
Are there a lot
and I think that was a big relief.
I'm sure, a great system. Are there a lot of South African nurses who choose to leave South Africa and come and work in areas such as the one you're in Abu Dhabi?
Yes, there are many, and that makes it so easy for us because we get together, we work together, and when you work with South African nurses, it's like you are in South Africa, and it makes that loneliness, it makes it easier because you work with your people.
And do you think that the conditions in Abu Dhabi, that nurses perhaps have better working conditions compared to what we're hearing about how it is in South African hospitals? Do you think that is a major factor for a lot of your colleagues, your South African colleagues who come to Abu Dhabi?
I agree to that because we never had any problems with PPE. We never had any problems during our the peak times. The government really looked after nurses, after healthcare workers, after the communities, even after our families. And that made it easier for us to work here and to stay here because we had to be strong for patients, for the families, as well as for our families. So it helped a lot. We had it on the easy side.
Well, I'm so glad you're still smiling. As you say, you have better conditions there, but still, it was not an easy time. And it's lovely to see the little map of Africa on the wall behind you. So that tells me where your heart remains. Thank you so much for chatting to us.